What's up everybody, Kier Gomes here, and welcome back. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the brand new HINODE playing cards by Diesel Illusions and Murphy's Magic. So if you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you know that a constant source of support that I've been receiving since the very beginning of this channel has been my good friend Kyle McIntosh, aka Diesel Illusions. Kyle's done a lot for me in terms of just helping me get started and established online. Before YouTube, I was trying to make it as a performing magician. Definitely not the easiest thing in the world, but once I kind of got settled in online and I decided to start the channel, Kyle was really adamant about sharing his belief in me and what I'm doing. I mean, just in general, the guy's helped me out a lot. So last summer, he announced that he was working on a deck of cards called the HINODE playing cards. It's a deck inspired by the Japanese word for sunrise. It kind of carries that element into the design of the cards, so we're gonna talk all about that today. Before we get started, please do drop a like on this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Without further ado, let's roll that intro and get you guys on your way.
Let's go.
Alright, so what is the HINODE deck? This deck is basically a take on the HINODE image. You've definitely seen this before in all kinds of fashion, memorabilia, artwork. It's everywhere. So this is a take on the Japanese sunrise. It has some elements of the Japanese flag, and we'll talk about that. And overall, it's just a really nice deck of cards. The front of the tuck box is the back design of the cards without the border, but you can see it's that HINODE Japanese sunrise. There's nothing written on either side of the tuck box. The back of the tuck box features the red dot from the Japanese flag and says HINODE in this kind of Japanese aesthetic font. The bottom has some ad copy and information about the deck, and the top features what I imagine is the Japanese writing for HINODE. Pretty standard tuck box. This is like something that you would see maybe like at a casino, very standard. I really like that. Inside the tongue flaps, you can see you get a reveal for the 7 of spades. All right, pretty straightforward on the tuck box. Let's take a look at the cards. Your back design looks like this. It's got extremely thin white borders, and it has that HINODE image on the back, making for a very interesting two-way back design that has a ton of allure for things like cardistry. The deck really lends itself to card flourishing, but specifically things like the padiddle. If you just spin the card, you can see that red dot in the center doesn't move, which looks really interesting. As well, I really like these thin borders. I typically like medium-sized borders, but I think for this deck, the thin border really works, so nice job. As well, this deck was designed by Kyle McIntosh, aka Diesel Illusions, and my good friend Mike McClure at Doc's Playing Cards. Your ace of spades looks like this. You get an enlarged spade pip with no border definition, so this is kind of reminiscent of the back design of the cards, but there's no border to make the shape of the spade, so you kind of just rely on that design, which I think looks really nice. And I love the fact that it's giant. I mean, that's a huge spade pip. And it says HINODE in the middle in that kind of Japanese P.F. Chang's font. That font definitely reminds me of like a Japanese restaurant. Nothing wrong with that. I actually quite like it. I think it looks good. Perhaps my favorite design on this deck is the jokers. You can see it says Joker in each corner. It has a kind of sloppily hand-painted red circle, and then an illustrated mountain in the middle. The jokers are identical, and I really like the way that they came out. They look very nice. This is definitely a joker that I think is very easy to associate with a specific type of deck. Anytime you can look at a set of jokers and know exactly what deck it goes to, you kind of hit a home run, and that's what these really do for me. I like that a lot. In terms of ad cards and gaff cards, you are going to get a duplicate Jack of Clubs, which is really handy. You can use that for a lot of magic effects, but as well, you can use it as a card to impossible location type thing. So it's just always good to have one. And you get a double backer, which as most of you know, is my favorite gaff card included with any deck. I have a video on what I use double backers for, so if you haven't seen that, I'll make sure that I either link it below or put it somewhere in the titles at the end. All right, now the rest of your face cards are gonna be bicycle standard, so not a lot to see there. They've got the same courts that you would see on a bicycle deck, same faces, clubs, spades, hearts, diamonds, all the same. I really like this. Again, as a magician, I like standard faces. It means that this is a deck that I can easily perform with without having to worry about how the face cards get interpreted. it just helps me out a lot. Plus, I like the way they look, so also I think a nice choice. All right, now that is pretty much it for how the cards look. Let's switch angles and talk about how they handle. All right, now in terms of handling, this deck feels amazing. It is on crushed premium stock by the USPCC. It looks really good in fans, as you can tell. The way that the design is, it allows for some really, really interesting fans. Look at that. Ooh. If you fan it for the index, you get the same thing. It looks really, really nice. I love how this deck looks in fans. Look at that. Ooh. Okay, sorry. So yeah, crushed premium stock allows for really, really nice, soft handling. These cards are a little bit thicker than some of the other crushed premium decks that I've handled, but in general, they're relatively thin. I think, in my opinion, they're like the perfect thickness. They spread very, very nice, very evenly. And as well, the softness of this deck is really nice too. So it comes out of the box feeling already broken in, which I absolutely love. Super easy to spring. Here's that new dribble sound. One more time for your mind. Yes, love it. This deck is traditionally cut, but it does faro fairly well both ways. So it looks like in a giant fan, really, really nice. Now in terms of other decks that you might own that feel like this feels very similar to the Hydrogen deck by Elemental Playing Cards. And as well, it feels very similar to like the Black Roses decks. Also feels a lot like the Red Fox deck by ECAT. In terms of cardistry, the cards definitely look good in flourishes, as can be expected. This is definitely a deck that lends itself to the art of card flourishing. Even the most basic and simple ones, like what I'm doing now. In terms of Magic, this is definitely a deck that you could use. Not only does it have completely standard faces, but as well, it adds a little bit of flair with that back design, and the cards feel really good, which mean that they will last you a long time, and that's definitely something you want for Magic performances. I literally could spring these cards all day long. Listen to how quiet. If anything is a testament to how soft a deck is, it's how quiet the springs are. Listen to that. Ooh. Love it. Snappiness check. Nice. The cards are definitely nice and snappy. However, they are a little bit soft. They don't feel super stiff. So you don't get that same sound, that same pop sound, which to me means nothing. I like the sound of a good pop, but if you're really good at doing what you're doing, you can kind of create that sound anyway. Observe. Ooh. Nice. This is probably not the best angle for this, but let's see. I guess when I'm editing this video, I'll see how that looked. There you go. Well guys, thank you so much for watching today's episode and my review of the HINODE playing cards by Diesel Illusions and Murphy's Magic. If you're interested in picking up this deck for yourself, I've already seen it available on certain third-party retailers, but as well, it is available at murphysmagic.com. I'll drop a couple links below where you guys can check all that stuff out. I would highly recommend picking up one of these decks, and I do want to say thank you to Diesel Illusions, not only for sending me some decks to review, but for everything that you've done for me personally and the community. You're a great influence on a lot of us. I really appreciate what you do, and you're a great friend. So I'll leave Diesel's information down below as well. He is no longer on YouTube, but if you're interested in following him on Instagram, I would highly recommend it. He's a pretty awesome photographer. I mean, the guy's basically family, so if you follow me, you should follow him. Alright guys, well that is pretty much going to do it for us here today. If you like this video, please let me know by dropping a like, and I hope you'll consider subscribing for more awesome content just like this. With all that being said, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their day. I know I will. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.